The city burned before their eyes, but it was not the flames that doomed her. It was the glance back. A single look turned a woman to stone, frozen forever on a desert hill. Flames devoured streets and towers, and smoke rose like a black sea into the sky. At a distance, the cities glittered with gold and music, hiding a dangerous heart. But before the fire, one man stood between heaven and hell, pleading not for justice, but for mercy. Long before the fire fell, the land seemed perfect, green fields and gentle rivers. Lot chose the fertile plain near the cities, tempted by ease and rich fields. Sodom was beautiful, rich, busy, a city full of promise, but empty of God. Their hearts were full of pride, greed, and violence. They weren't just sinful, they were proud of it. But before the fire, one man stood between heaven and hell, pleading not for justice, but for mercy.
Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50, 40, 30, 10?
If I find 10 righteous in Sodom, I will not destroy it.
Abraham asked, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50, 40, 30, 10? And the Lord answered, "If I find 10 righteous in Sodom, I will not destroy it." But 10 could not be found. And heaven turned its gaze to Sodom, not with pity. But the outcry of the city reached the heavens, and 2 angels came searching the night. Where laughter hid, cruelty and arrogance grew in dark corners. The angels found Lot and knocked on his door, strangers in a gentle light. Lot bowed and begged them to stay, offering bread, shelter, and protection. But the city's men surrounded his house, pounding the door with demand and rage. Lot pleaded, voice shaking, "Please treat them with kindness. This is our home." Angels moved, and a strange light scattered the mob. Confusion broke their cruelty. The angels whispered urgently, "Take your family and flee. The Lord's judgment is coming." They shouted, "Bring them out, not to greet, but to consume." Lot stepped out, one man against the mob. He offered peace, but they wanted flesh. The angels pulled him back. The door slammed shut. And then light split the dark. Blinding light burst from their hands, and the mob stumbled blind. The angels whispered urgently, "Take your family and flee. The Lord's judgment is coming." Lot hesitated for a heartbeat, torn between safety and the life he knew. His daughters wrapped quick bundles, bread, a few cloths, the smallest keepsakes. Under a pale moon, the angels led Lot and his family out through silent streets. Lot held her hand tightly. "We must go now," he cried. "God is saving us, but we must not look back." She stopped. Her heart was still in Sodom, the home, the life, the memories. Lot turned to her, eyes wide with fear. "If we stay, we die," he warned. She whispered, "But our daughters, their lives were here." Lot's voice broke. "Don't let this place pull you down. We must trust God." Behind them, The city's sleeping glow grew dim, then flickered with a distant orange. The ground trembled, first a distant rumble, then a deep warning under their feet. Across the valley, proud walls cracked, stone groaned, and the city seemed to shudder. From the skies came sparks at first, then flaming stones that struck with terrible purpose. Lot pulled his family forward, each breath a struggle against smoke and sorrow. His wife could not let go. She slowed and looked back, memory stronger than command. An angel's voice surged. "Do not look back." A command, not a plea. She glanced once, and the world took her. Flesh became stone, and she stood forever still. Lot screamed her name. His daughters clung to him as horror swallowed the valley. Flames roared through streets. The city's laughter was gone, replaced by an unending silence. When the smoke cleared, only blackened land remained, and a small shelter on a distant hill. Them consistent. Lot turned, but it was too late. His wife was no longer beside him. Only a statue remained. No time to mourn, no time to cry. The fire was coming, and it wasn't waiting. Above Sodom, the sky cracked open, and heaven dropped fire, not rain. Flames swallowed buildings, ash covered the streets. The city groaned as it fell. Men ran, women screamed, but there was nowhere to hide from the wrath falling from above. Everything they loved, their homes, their gold, their pride, turned to smoke. The cave found them, cold, isolated, like a tomb for the living. They lit no fire that night. There was enough burning inside, and still no one spoke, because some griefs don't need words, only time. Outside, the stars returned, but even they couldn't pierce the darkness in that cave. The fire of Sodom was gone, but its smoke still lived in their memories. The silence grew louder than the fire ever was. For grief has a voice all its own. Lot looked at his daughters. They were safe, but changed, because no one escapes Sodom without scars. The silence grew louder than the fire ever was. For grief has a voice all its own. Night after night, they sat in the dark, 3 survivors, and 1,000 memories. No laughter, no songs, just the sound of survival echoing through the rocks. Lot's daughters watched their father and wondered if God had left them too. Hope had not followed them, only memory, and the weight of what should never be. They had escaped the fire, but not the loneliness. Lot looked at his daughters and saw reflections of a city he thought he'd left behind. No flames followed them to the cave, but Sodom had already entered their bones. Sin doesn't always shout. Sometimes it hides in survival, quiet, but deadly. There was no going back, no cleansing fire, only the burden of what they became. And heaven was silent. Far from the ashes, the land of Canaan breathed, unaware of what had passed. He remembered the promise and the fire. Abraham stood once more beneath the stars, but this time No laughter echoed from the valley below. And though Lot lived, the cost of compromise lived with him. This is the danger of pitching your tent too close to Sodom. Without fire outside, sin began to smolder within. Lot's eyes looked forward, but his soul still looked back. The cave offered shelter, but not healing. Lot's daughters, shaped by Sodom, carried its seed in secret, and from one night of deception came generations of conflict. Sin can be escaped, but not without scars. From Lot came legacy and a warning. God remembered Abraham and spared Lot for his sake. But not all mercy feels like blessing. Lot had no home, no wife, no peace, only memories and smoke. Lot had no home, no wife, no peace, only memories and smoke. He had escaped Sodom, but never escaped himself. But not all mercy feels like blessing. And high above the stars burned cold, silent witnesses of judgment. This is what remains when men choose Sodom over sanctuary. We all face Sodom moments, times when we know something in our life is wrong, but we're still drawn to it. Maybe it's a toxic friendship, a secret habit, a lifestyle we don't want to let go. But like Lot's wife, one glance back can cost everything. God doesn't just call us to run from danger. He calls us to run toward life, to trust Him, to let go of the things that pull us down. The story of Sodom is not just about destruction. It's about mercy, choices, and the danger of holding on to the wrong things. So when God says, go, when He opens a way out, don't hesitate, don't delay, and don't look back. Even when people turn away from Him, He still tries to save. Lot and his family were told to run. Leave everything behind. Don't stop, don't look back. But Lot's wife looked back, and in that moment, she was lost.
If you haven't subscribed yet, please don't forget to do so. It truly helps us keep creating powerful stories just like this one.